Hello, everyone. It is March the 4th, 2022. We've got some news today. It's a lot of companies basically saying, go fuck yourself, Russia. That's generally what the news is today. So let's get to it. We'll read a bunch of quotes and maybe talk about some other stuff as well. Let us begin with CD Projekt Group. They put out a statement in regards to the Russian war on Ukraine and suspended all GOG.com services in Russia and Belarus. Their statement is a statement for ants. What in the world? Look at this. It's so tiny. How do you even read that? How do they go from making giant yellow statements and then they put this out? And the text is, good Lord. In light of the Russian military invasion in our neighboring country of Ukraine, until further notice, the CD Projekt Group has made the decision to halt all sales of our games to Russia and Belarus. Today, we begin working with our partners to suspend digital sales and cease physical stock deliveries of CD Projekt Group products, as well as all games distributed on the GOG platform to the territories of Russia and Belarus. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I get it. I understand. There's a lot of different companies doing that, like EA. We covered some news of theirs on Wednesday as it pertains to FIFA, but now EA is halting sales of games in Russia and Belarus as it also released a statement. Here's a part of that. Quote, we continue to be shocked at the conflict that is unfolding in Ukraine and join so many voices around the world in calling for peace and an end to the invasion. We've made the decision to stop sales of our games and content, including virtual currency bundles, in Russia and Belarus while this conflict continues. As a result, our games and content will no longer be available for purchase in our Russian region storefront on Origin or the EA app, including through in-game stores. We're also working with our platform partners to remove our titles from their stores and stop the sale of new in-game content in the region. Microsoft, once again, also throwing in and suspending, quote, all new sales of its products and services in Russia. They put out a statement. Part of that statement reads, like the rest of the world, we are horrified, angered, and saddened by the images and news coming from the war in Ukraine, and condemn this unjustified, unprovoked, and unlawful invasion by Russia. We're announcing today that we will suspend all new sales of Microsoft products and services in Russia. In addition, we are coordinating closely and working in lockstep with the governments of the United States, the European Union, and the United Kingdom, and we are stopping many aspects of our business in Russia in compliance with governmental sanctions decisions. Facepunch, who are the developers behind Rush, put out a statement, and they will also be donating $500,000 to charities. Their statement reads, we're raising the price of our games in Russia because the ruble has crashed so much and it's leading to opportunism. We're going to donate any payments from Russia to humanitarian charities helping the Ukrainian people. War sucks for everyone, so we're also going to donate another $500,000 to help them out. Wargaming, I think we mentioned this on Wednesday, but if not, here's the full story. Wargaming, the developers behind World of Tanks, as well as a handful of other games, have fired their creative director, Sergei Burkatavsky. Sorry for any butchering of that name. Who voiced support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Burkatavsky said in a now deleted Facebook post, quote, the operation of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, the DPR, and the LPR. The studio says that Sergei Burkatavsky's opinion is in complete contradiction with the studio's. His personal opinion, which categorically does not coincide with the position of the company. I feel like that prior quote was missing the actual proper statement, but I think he was basically just supporting what Russia is doing at the moment. Company goes on to say, categorically does not coincide with the position of the company. The studio added that it is now, quote, focused on helping our 550 plus Kiev colleagues and their families. Eurogamer reported today that Gran Turismo 7 released worldwide except in Russia, as the decision to not sell the game in Russia was made by PlayStation last night. There's been no further comment as of recording from Sony just yet. The GT7 Russia store page now displays the text release date pending. A lot going on with companies saying F off to Russia for doing dumb, bad shit. Good. I'm glad. Moving along to Elden Ring. No spoilers, but that game's doing very well in terms of sales. Over in Japan, it's currently sold 270,000, almost 280,000 plus during its first week. I believe that's breaking records. And in the UK, they're saying that it's the biggest game launch since Call of Duty Vanguard. And it's the, I think, biggest non-Call of Duty / FIFA game since Red Dead Redemption 2. Its week one sales are bigger than Cyberpunk 2077, as well as Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and it has 2.5x as many sales as Horizon Forbidden West. Do keep in mind, this is only in the UK. This is not worldwide, though I'm sure that that game is selling quite well worldwide as well. They said that digital downloads accounted for 68% of Elden Ring sales. Xbox and PC were the biggest digital platforms in the UK. 85% of Elden Ring sales on the Xbox were downloaded, and PC it was 73%. PS5 and PS4, the sales were just over 50% digital. And it looks like digital and physical numbers, 32% of the sales were PlayStation 5, 30% on PC, 29% on Xbox, and 9% on PS4. It's going well. It's going well. Stalker 2, jumping real quick back to the war in Ukraine, has been put on hold due to the war in Ukraine. They put out a quote, and part of it reads, "We are striving to help our employees and their families to survive. The game development shifted to the sidelines, but we will definitely continue after the victory." You can find more on that over at PCGamer.com if you want to follow that story out of Stalker 2. The Settlers, a game which you may or may not know, probably not, but hey, it's been delayed 2 weeks prior to launch, and there's no new release window being mentioned. There is a statement that they put out, which is a Ubisoft game, by the way. And it says, "Hello, dear The Settlers fans. The recent closed beta was a great opportunity for all participating players to share valuable feedback regarding the current state of the game, and we'd like to thank you for your involvement. As we went through the feedback, it became clear to our team that the quality wasn't yet in line with the team's vision. Therefore, we took the decision to postpone the launch of the game to a later date. Additional time will be used to further improve the game and push quality as our main priority for all of our players. We'll keep you updated in due time and give you more details on the next milestones for the Settlers. Thank you for your continued understanding and support. You're the Settlers team." I wonder how much of that also has to go in because like no one played it. Maybe. Chat's also saying the game is pretty bad and the beta was in rough shape, so maybe it was a good idea just to straight up delay it. Rockstar Games has published a couple more details regarding GTA 5 and GTA Online for the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. They will have 3 different game modes: Fidelity Mode, which will be 30 FPS at 4K, Performance Mode, which will be 60 FPS at upscaled 4K, and Performance Ray Tracing, aka Performance RT, which will be 60 FPS, upscaled 4K, and also include ray tracing. There's a handful of other visual enhancements across the board. You can head over to rockstargames.com/newswire to find the article about all of those different details. Gran Turismo 7, jumping back to that real quick. The microtransactions have gone live now that that game is released and everywhere but Russia. And it's come with significant increases in price. For reference, the Porsche 919 Hybrid 16, which can be bought for $3, $299 in Gran Turismo Sport, can now only be bought for 3 million credits in-game. I want to state before I finish this statement, you can earn credits in-game. As always, you don't have to just outright buy credits. Jumping back to the actual reference, 3 million credits would require the player to spend at least $40 in game. In GT Sports, you can buy a car for 99 cents to $5. So it looks like they've changed a little bit how those microtransactions will work, in line with perhaps what players are spending in other games. Kind of ridiculous. It is what it is. Babylon's Fall. Have you heard the game? Name of that game? It's okay. No one has. That game came out and it peaked at 647 players on Steam on release day, aka yesterday. Currently had a peak at 4,457 viewers on Twitch, according to the Steam database. Today, it's doing a little bit better due to some sponsorships, but not a lot, as it's reached 1,188 players on Steam with 5,000 viewers on Twitch. Pretty rough for that game coming out. Probably needs a demo, I would say, to get people interested in it. But it also just goes to show that Square Enix has had a hard time with those online games as services. Marvel's Avengers reached 28,000 peak concurrent users on launch. And Outriders reached 125,000 peak concurrent on launch. So go look at those games now. It's nowhere near that. I have seen a handful of sponsored streamers, friends of mine, get paid. So good job. Get that bag. Last night, or really this morning, I think it happened about 5 a.m. my time here in Central Time Zone. There was a live letter for Final Fantasy XIV where they announced that patch 6.1 is coming mid-April. They didn't announce an exact date. It's called the Newfound Adventure, as they title all of their patches. It'll take place a few months after the end of the most recent release, Endwalker. I'm not going to go into the story reasons for that. It'll have a handful of other features. I think there's a new Ultimate Raid coming. There's 5v5 or something like that, and PvP. They're putting a bunch of other stuff in there. So Final Fantasy fans, you don't get this news from me. You already know all this stuff. For everyone else, yeah, they're going to continue updating that game. You can find more information over on the official Twitter at twitter.com/ff_xiv_en. We watched a trailer for this, but it's worth noting that House of the Dead remake has a release date. And that's April 7th. You can find the trailer in today's trailer time, which should be up on YouTube on March 5th, whenever you're watching this video. IO Interactive has announced its Hitman 3 2-year roadmap. We can take a look at it real quick. Has a handful of things in it. Stuff like the elusive Target arcade. That's coming up on March 3rd. Looks like that's already out. The Collector will be out there on the 11th. Patient Zero on March 17th. We've got more contracts as well on the 17th coming for that. And then the next elusive Target arcade will be on the 24th of March. Bunch of stuff planned for that game. I'm sure people are very excited about that, if you are a Hitman fan. Slow Clap, people behind Sifu, has announced that it sold 1 million units in its first 3 weeks of release. Quote, "We are thrilled by the reception of Sifu from both fans and press alike," said executive producer Pierre Tarno in a press release. "We set out to create an authentic kung fu action game that paid homage to our favorite kung fu films. We're thankful for our fans around the world, but we are especially humbled by the incredible reception the game has had in China. Our internal metric of success was how well the game was received there, and knowing that fans in China are the largest segment of our sales outside of North America, and the positive reviews from Chinese critics means a lot to us." They also went to announce that over 10 million hours of the game have been played. More than 45% of players have completed the challenging second level of the game. I really wonder how many players have actually finished the game. That would be a very interesting stat if they do release that. And over 150,000 players have already mastered Kung Fu enough to beat Yang, the main game's antagonist. Oh, well, there's the answer right there. So, yeah, not very many. Game's hard. The 2022 BAFTA Game Award nominations are out. You can find it over at BAFTA.org. We're not going to go through it in real time during the show. However, the Brits are going to Brit, is all I'm going to say. Very weird categories. Definitely go take a look at that if you're at all curious. We have 2 little bits of news as it pertains to Twitch. The first one is a new rule or a new thing. They're calling it they're basically stopping misinformation spreaders. Angela Hessian, Twitch's vice president of trust and safety, put out a quote and said that they are taking this precautionary step and updating our policies to ensure that these misinformation super spreaders won't find a home on our on our service, per the New York Times article that I guess came out from this. Policy states that the users will be prohibited if their quote online presence is dedicated to 1, persistently sharing, 2, widely disproven and broadly shared, or 3, harmful misinformation topics. Alongside that, they also had an article come out over on Bloomberg. And this was not a new announcement of any new rules or anything like that. It's actually kind of I don't want to call it a hit piece, but it's basically saying Twitch is bad. Bad things are happening at Twitch. Basically talks about an exodus of executives at the platform, with at least 6 top employees having left since the start of the year. It goes on and says employees have been leaving Twitch due to disagreements over its strategies in recent years, and the current and former staff quoted on that. The streaming platform has been focusing on monetizing its users and expanding instead of, quote, listening to and understanding its streamers, which has, quote, alienated both its employees and its users, Bloomberg reported. Employees have also said that Twitch's executives have been ignoring warnings from its staff regarding monetization efforts, which were likely to cause backlash, with one former employee saying, quote, Twitch's leadership is uncomfortable with mid-level and lower-level employees pushing for change. So there you go. Definitely go check that article out. It's over at Bloomberg.com. I think it actually might be behind a paywall. You can look around on the internet. That article's been posted a lot. When you think about the people that watch Twitch and the fact that most of them run ad block, they're going to find a way to read stuff about Twitch without ads on it. So definitely go check that article out. It has a lot of great insight into what's going on within Twitch at this current state and time. That's going to do it for the news today. Thank you guys for joining us for JPNN. We will be back Monday. Don't forget to check out Trailer Time, which should be up if you're watching this live here on Friday. Should be up tomorrow sometime if Reggie is doing his job. For now, though, we're going to get out of here and go play some more Elden Ring, as I highly suggest the rest of you do this weekend. All right? Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.